Dr. Doom conquers the whole planet in this book, not a country, the planet, and the strange part is that he is good at it. It starts with a bored man on a beach in French Polynesia, ordering a general and a mayor to amuse him. His name is Zebediah Kilgrave, and nobody has ever been able to tell him no. His body gives off a chemical. Breathe it, or absorb it through your skin, and you will do whatever he says. Then somebody walks up who is not affected at all, and gives Kilgrave an order instead. Doom is waiting for him at a restaurant table, and he has built something, a device called a Psycho-Prism, which takes the Purple Man's power and amplifies it. He does not need a strand of hair, he has the man. With the enormous prism being finished on a Caribbean island, he can push that chemical into the atmosphere of the entire world and convince every person alive that Victor Von Doom should rule them. Namor's price is the sea. Total, uncontested control of every ocean on Earth the day Doom takes the surface. He asks why Doom needs him at all. Namor walks into Avengers' mansion as a guest and shows the Vision that the Scarlet Witch, his wife, is already under control. Then he has Star Fox put his hands on her throat. The Vision stands still and lets it happen. On the island, Kilgrave is suspended inside the prism, screaming at Doom that the real power is his, that Doom is only a manipulator who needs gadgets, and that he does not deserve to rule. So Doom empties the room, steps inside the shielding, and takes off the mask. Point blank, unprotected, he tells Kilgrave to go ahead. Leave. Release me. Stand on your head. Kill yourself. Nothing happens. Doom asks him who deserves to rule and puts the mask back on. That is the whole character in one page. Meanwhile, Simon Williams, Wonder Man, volunteers for an experiment. 30 days sealed in a sensory deprivation tank, cut off from everything. He jokes about what could possibly happen in a month. He greets them warmly. He has invited them to witness the greatest invention of his life being switched on. The prism fires into the sky, and the Avengers stop and look at each other and cannot remember why they came. 2 days later, he stands in front of the United Nations General Assembly and explains that the world is tearing itself apart over petty differences and that the only hope for peace is one leader for the whole planet. He suggests a formal vote is not necessary. A show of hands. Every hand in the room goes up. He says he accepts. Then he turns to Namor, who has been standing at his shoulder, and tells him he will not be needed anymore today. Namor reminds him of the bargain. Doom explains that the bargain existed because he needed him, and that the need no longer exists. Namor threatens to use the small prism against him, and learns what it was really for. As long as he is touching it, it feeds him into the big one. He was never a partner, he was on a leash the whole time. And then something nobody expects, the world gets better. Soviet troops leave Afghanistan unconditionally. Deserts bloom in Ethiopia because sworn enemies start shipping food. South Africa hands power to its black majority and is welcomed back into the United Nations. Crime falls, hunger falls, production rises. Armies disband down to skeleton crews who only turn out for natural disasters, all of it because of one man. Weeks later, a lid opens in a laboratory, and Simon Williams sits up into a world that has been quietly reorganized around one person while he was asleep. He finds Captain America up a ladder, polishing filigree, because the Emperor has chosen the compound as his winter home, and everyone is pleased about it. So Simon tells them Dr. Doom has taken over and they have to stop him. And Captain America agrees that somebody should be told, and picks up the line to the White House to report him. In Washington, Doom admits something to himself. Famine is ending. Food is shared fairly for the first time in history. The trains run on time. The planet is entirely his, and he feels discontented. He comes down in a supermarket car park, and the television has already told everyone who he is. An ordinary crowd of shoppers turns into a mob and starts kicking a man they cannot possibly hurt. So he breaks into a film studio's makeup van, and Simon Williams disappears. What comes out is a red-haired drifter with a mustache and another man's name. Back at the White House, Doom walks the lawn and works out what is wrong with him. He always dreamed of ruling the world as a conqueror. Nobody dreams of being an administrator. The fight for victory is a noble thing, he decides, but what is a victory worth with nothing left to beat? Then an aide reminds him about a briefing on farm subsidy revisions, and Doom says it is his duty. Weeks of walking back roads. He avoids towns, picks up scraps of news, and works out that Doom has the whole planet, and that nobody minds. He decides he cannot fight the world on his own and that maybe he should stop trying. Then he smells cooking and finds a cabin and a woman called Evan Barnes frying trout for a stranger. She is blind. She has no idea who she is talking to. They talk about Mozart and what it would have cost the world if he had given up. And halfway through talking her out of quitting, Simon Williams hears his own argument. He has something nobody else has, and even if he fails, he has to try. He thanks her for everything, and she never learns what for. He breaks into his own headquarters, digs through the records, and finds a transmission of Namor talking about a purple filament, and a file saying that people with exceptionally strong wills can throw the Purple Man off. So he holds Captain America still and plays him the Avengers' own history tapes, Doom the Dictator trying to destroy them over and over for years. Cap calls them fakes. Simon asks whether he could fake his memories too, and Captain America stands there and tears himself out of it by will alone, shouting at himself to stop, and comes back. Then they go after the ones whose powers are built on concentration. Hawkeye, who never misses. The Wasp, who changes size by will. Iron Man, who runs his armor with his mind. And because they are concentrating so hard, desperate to please their master, the truth gets through and the loyalty snaps. She hears them anyway and calls Doom. Hawkeye stops her himself and has to explain to the others that he could not let that maniac keep playing with her mind because she is his wife. Namor notices he is taking the setback more lightly than expected, that he seems almost happy. Doom corrects him, not happy. But for the first time in a long while, he says he feels alive. On the way in, they argue about whether they are doing the right thing. War and famine are nearly finished. Iron Man cannot stop thinking about the children who ate today because of Doom. Captain America's answer is that war is an obscenity, but peace has to be something people choose. Everyone alive is comfortable, and none of them is anything more than a contented slave. And the closer they get to it, the worse they get. Iron Man's reflexes slow down because being near the Purple Man makes resisting him harder. She spots the small prism on a chain around Namor's neck and goes for it. And this close to the big one, it makes no difference. He catches her in his fist and starts to squeeze. And she asks him, while he is crushing her, why he does not go home, back to the water. And Namor says he cannot, because the Emperor has forbidden it. That is the mistake. Namor's strength comes out of the sea, and Doom has kept him dry for weeks. Cap works it out, and the Wasp blows the waterline. He comes up out of the flood as himself. And what he says is that Doom has made a fool of him, and of Atlantis, and of the world, and that it will not be allowed to continue. Doom, at that exact moment, is in a meeting. There is a border dispute needing a ruling. There is a report on Hog Production in Budapest. There is a delegation about a state wanting to leave the Union. He could stop it. He is the most dangerous man on the planet and the prism is his. Instead, he decides it might be wiser to let fate decide, and he does nothing. Namor tears the prism apart. Kilgrave, who spent the whole book being used as a battery, gets one line out before it comes down, asking, what about him? And everything good goes with it. The country that had just handed power to its black majority takes it straight back. In Washington, someone gives the order to put the missiles back and arm them at once. The Purple Man does not survive it. Namor says plainly that this is not how he would have chosen, with so many lives at stake, and that Kilgrave was a petty man who may not have deserved it. Doom is already gone. He tells them they have won, for now, and leaves by a shuttle nobody knew was there. Cap says he gave up far too easily, and that there were factors they will never know about. And then the five of them say the thing the whole book has been walking towards. They have either done humanity, the greatest favor in its history, or the greatest damage. And either way, they have to live with it,